Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, what is up, guys? Horror Nights Fan 13 here, and I'm back. I know I end up taking a little bit of a hiatus between the end of the event and the start of speculation for the next season, but I'm back. It's the start of March. I know a lot has happened since, January, February, when speculation really started to kick up. A lot has happened since then, and I have not participated in any of it. Usually in other years I'm posting on forums about oh, this is what I think is coming, this is what I think is coming, these are why I think it's coming. Haven't done any of that. It's crazy weird. I've just been way too busy with college, so that's kind of my explanation as to why I've waited so long to make a video on speculation for 2018. But I found a little bit of free time today. Practice was not really canceled, we just got the day off because my team did really good over the weekend. I wasn't there. I stayed back to try to see Of Mice and Men in Flagstaff on Monday, and they canceled the show the day of, so that kind of sucked. Oh well, but found some time, just a little bit in the day, where I could sit down and make a video, tell you my kind of short list of properties that I think is coming, and I'm going to pick between what I think is most likely coming and what I don't think is coming at all. I know there has been sorry, my voice is really hoarse right now, I'm kind of coming down with a little bit of a cold, but I know there has been a leaked lineup. I have looked at it. However, this time it does not influence any of my speculation whatsoever. All of the properties that I have listed are properties that I have listed before the leaked lineup came out and had written down way before the leaked lineup came out. So it's just kind of good speculation, I guess. Alright, so yeah, this is my 2018 shortlist speculation video. Before I end this video, please, as always, show your support, like the video if you like it, comment what you think is coming to 2018 Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, and subscribe if you want to keep up with updating into the 2018 season. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So, if you are unfamiliar with how my speculation videos work, let me just clue you in before I go into my short list of properties. So, the first video that I usually do for a season is the short list of properties. I come up with a list between 7 or 10, maybe 11 properties that I believe have a chance of coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Some of them are just wild cards, some of them are speculation, some of them are like, okay, John has talked about this, John has wanted to do this. There is reasoning behind all the ones that I list. And from that point on, I go into the code names. This year I wasn't sure if we were going to have code names, but now we do have confirmation from John Murdy that there will be code names for the 2018 season. So I'm going to have lots of videos talking on those. I'll be spending lots and lots of hours of my life working on those when I have the time. But code names aren't for a while. We have one kind of hint to a code name right now. I'm still working on it. We need more hints for that, but time to get into the short list. So, the first property that I think is coming is kind of a no-brainer. American Horror Story. This year, for 2018, I believe it will be American Horror Story Asylum. I myself actually just finished watching American Horror Story Asylum. I've said it before, I'm not a huge American Horror Story fan. I watched Murder House in 2016, and I tried watching Freak Show, and it just bored me to death. I watched Roanoke for 2017's Maze, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed Roanoke. Asylum has been my favorite season. Asylum was great. And when I watched it, I said, okay, the environments are really well fitted for a maze. Characters, it's alright. I think it could make a good maze if John, worked on it. John has mentioned that it is his favorite season, and he has said in a Twitter reply in a Q&A that, American Horror Story Asylum has tons of maze potential. It was supposed to be in the maze last year. Last year we were supposed to have a mashup of Asylum, Coven, and then Roanoke. And John decided, okay, let's just do a whole Roanoke maze. So start giving individual seasons individual treatments. So I think this year we're just going to get an Asylum maze. There's some people saying, I don't think we'll get Asylum because a couple years ago Knott's did a VR thing in relation to an Asylum and it got shut down because people were offended by it. I think as long as they stay away from mental patients in there, showcasing actual disorders, then we'll be fine. If they show the killer Santa, if they show bloody face, stuff like that, then we'll probably be fine. Who knows, maybe they'll decide to do cult. Whatever I'm saying though, American Horror Story is probably, I'm guessing, like 100% coming to the event this year. Moving on to the next one that I think is coming, super given, it is Halloween, the new 2018 sequel film that is produced by Blumhouse. John works with Jason all the time. Insidious, The Purge, Blumhouse of Horrors. Is that really it? Yeah, that's all I can really think of right now. But it's pretty given that Halloween will be featured at the event. It's just kind of a no-brainer because it's Halloween. Everyone loves Michael Myers. And on opening night, there was an interview that came out with Jason Blum, someone saying like, oh, like, we hear you have a new Halloween film coming out. Like, John said he's interested. And then Jason was like, oh, I'm going to get him a script right away. So it's kind of like given at that point. It's like 100% Halloween will be coming to the event. Moving on. This one's a new one. This one is highly requested. Stranger Things. Now, I have seen both seasons of Stranger Things. I was a bit late to jump on the hype train, but I've seen them both. They're pretty good. They have good set locations, but not really good characters. Like, there's the Demogorgon and the Demodogs. Like, I don't know how well the characters would work out for a maze, but Stranger Things is very, very, very highly requested by the general public and by people on Twitter. Everyone's like, we want to see Stranger Things, Stranger Things, Stranger Things. So maybe John will work out a deal with Netflix, give the people what they want. Moving on to another highly requested and new property that I very much hope is coming to the event, It. The 2017 remake of Stephen King's 1990 miniseries / novel, whatever it really is, the remake in 2017. This is so highly requested. Everyone wants it. People last year were thinking it was going to be in the Jurassic Park queue, and they were saying, oh, the facade of Elise's childhood house is like fake. It's a fake facade. They're going to tear it down and rebuild it right before the season starts because John wanted to throw everyone off. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so, no, everyone was wanting It last year, but I don't think they could work out a deal to make a living preview of It, or not even a living preview. It would have been out at the time of the event. But I think this year, John may have been able to work out a deal with Warner Brothers to secure It to be coming to the event. I hope so, because it has so much maze potential. I really want it to come to the event, so yeah. It is on my list, short list as well. Moving on to a classic property, kind of the Revenge of the Mummy slot. This is like where all the classic properties have gone, The Exorcist, The Shining, and now I am putting John Carpenter's The Thing into that classic maze slot. You know, The Thing has not been featured since 2011, and it is requested. It's like kind of a cult classic, but still well known within the GP, and it's pretty requested. So, yeah, it hasn't been featured since 2011. The creature effects were great in 2011, so I didn't go, I saw videos. It looked great, so maybe it'll be coming as the classic 1982 version. Who knows? I really hope so. Moving on to one that I've kind of thrown in a list pretty much every single year in hopes that it'll come. Trick or Treat. Mike Dougherty's 2008, I believe, movie that is like 5 stories about Halloween. It's got so much maze potential. John has wanted to do it for so long, but he always keeps saying, where's the sequel, where's the sequel, where's the sequel? Well, that didn't stop Orlando last year from making a scare zone based off of it. And from what I read about their event, that scare zone was their highest rated scare zone. I saw so many videos of it. It looked beautiful. The characters were great. And it was a huge hit, not only with hardcore fans of Halloween Horror Nights and horror itself, but also just people going to the event. So I think Trick or Treat has enough relevancy within the haunt community and just around the world to be featured as a maze. I really hope so. I hope John's not just going to wait to be like, oh, where's the sequel, where's the sequel, where's the sequel? I hope he's going to do it this year. And kind of last on my most likely list, the classic monsters. This is something that I've been hoping for and hoping for and hoping for years. It's John's dream maze. John has wanted to do the classic monsters for such a long time. And I think it has a fairly decent shot at coming this year. The reason I say this is because John was talking about putting a maze in Parisian Courtyard, writing it, saying this one is so tricky because, like, it's just tricky for him to figure out. It took him a while to figure it out, but he figured it out. When people have asked him about the classic monsters in years past, he said, oh, like, I want to do them, but I don't know how to make them scary enough. It's tricky to make classic 30s, 20s, 40s monsters seem scary when you have stuff like The Exorcist, The Conjuring, The Shining, stuff like that nowadays that is absolutely terrifying to people, and those black and white movies are just cheesy nowadays. But I think he figured it out, and I strongly believe that John will be doing a classic Monsters Maze this year, because I believe this will be John's last year as creative director. You know, I said that a lot last year. I said it in my video, like, oh, I think this is John's last night. I'm gonna cry. I have so many feelings on closing night. But John stayed, so I think maybe he stayed because the opportunity for this year was too good. Moving on from classic monsters to my kind of 3 least likely possible, like, just throw in replacement properties if anything falls through. One would be The Conjuring. Now, for those of you who aren't really, like, in the know or really involved with spec, The Conjuring was supposed to be coming to the event last year. It was supposed to be in the Waterworld queue. It was called codename The Big Chill. However, due to a lawsuit that was about $900 million, it was scrapped from the lineup because John just didn't want to deal with it, and it was replaced by Titans of Terror, codename Uberfan. So, The Conjuring, I don't think it'll come this year. I think they'd wait until The Conjuring 3 comes out to bring it back to the event, be able to promote the new movie, stuff like that, work with Warner Brothers in promotion. So yeah, I don't think The Conjuring is going to come this year, but I think there is a small percentage of a chance that it could possibly come. Moving on to Horrors of Blumhouse Volume 2. There are tons and tons and tons of Blumhouse movies that were not used last year, as well as the 4th Purge installment is coming out this year. So, if they really wanted to, if something fell through in this, I think they could easily throw together a Blumhouse movie with, let's say, just Get Out, The Purge, Ouija, Split, something like that. Just throw it all together, and boom, Horrors of Blumhouse Volume 2. So I think that's easy to be thrown in there, but I don't think it'll happen just in a regular part of the lineup. It was very well received with the general public, which was surprising to me, because I was not a huge fan of that maze. It's 2nd lowest rated. And, John has had several meetings about an original maze or a music maze. He's talked with Chris about that, so who knows, maybe if something falls through, we could get an original replacement rather than a bunch of IPs. Or he could complete the Alice Cooper trilogy. He could work with a new musician like Iron Maiden or the Misfits, because now finally the Misfits original lineup are back together. So, it could happen. Who knows? So yeah, that's kind of my short list of properties that I think are coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2018 Hollywood. There is Codename coming soon. The hint for it is Terror in the Isles. I have seen the movie. I have researched it. I have been working so hard on it. But as soon as we get more information, I will make a video on it, once I solve it actually. But yeah, so that's kind of how this season is going to go. I'm super excited to be back for my 4th year of updating. I hope you guys are excited as well. So that's the end of the video. Please, as always, show your support. Like the video if you like it. Comment what you think about this lineup. Comment if you think something's wrong, something's right. Comment what you want to come. Comment what you think is coming to the event. Subscribe if you want to keep up with everything else in 2018, all the code names, all that stuff, any changes in the lineup, any speculate or any construction videos that happen, vlogs at the event, stuff like that. Follow social media at HHNFan13 on Twitter and Horror Nights Fan13 on Instagram. You know what? Just don't even listen to Instagram. I don't go on Instagram anymore. I have not posted since 2016. Twitter. I go on Twitter all the time. HHNFan13. You get a follow back on there as a thank you for your support. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.